I'm not going to go digging up the wife yet. Maybe with the fire in the hearth, we'll smoke him out. Ooh. We have a lockbox. Okay. March 21st, 1963. Dear Catherine, first of all, I beg you to take the utmost care in order to keep this letter away from James. James is the husband. Is this the doctor? I don't like to think of the mental breakdown he would suffer if he reads this. You know James much better than I do, so you must share my conviction that he'd never harm anything, but even so, I'd ask you to be careful whenever he's around, at least until we sort out the situation. He has been especially unstable lately, speaking about his determination to suppress this so-called curse. I truly fear for him and his sanity. I still wouldn't say he qualifies as dangerous, but just in case, be cautious. I've been playing the role of an ally who believes in James, and so far I think I've done a good job of convincing him. But I'm afraid it won't last for too much longer. I can't do all the things he's now asking me to. He has been delving into some obscure arts, and what began as a hobby has now become a dangerous obsession. He wants me to perform an African ritual on that awful mask he brought. What? He's convinced he has released an ancient spirit which will harm everything he loves and cares for. It's all so utterly insane that I'm ashamed to translate this into words. My biggest fear is that I will end up losing my own mind along with his. I have to put an end to all of this. And about that other issue, you should know I've gotten over it, Catherine. What we all did 2 years ago. What? The decision we made and knew would affect the course of our lives has been haunting my sleep ever since. I know you must be the one more affected by this, but you wouldn't understand all that has been going through my head. The confusion, the contradiction. Now, more than ever, I'm not sure whether it was the right decision or not, but there's no turning back and we must face the consequences. All I wanted to say about this is that I'm deeply sorry I behaved erratically these past days and unnerved you. You have my word, I won't ever reveal anything. Whatever you do with this letter, make sure James doesn't feel anything suspicious. I'd rather have you destroyed this, though. Extreme situations require extreme measures. Christopher, the doctor! Was the wife with the doctor, friend? Was it actually there, bebe? Ooh. Did you say dig up his wife? I did. Be right back. Alright, Road Rash. What? Oh! Oops. Could we not animate the lock, folks? Alright, so we did write down some of the block numbers that we had. And all we know for certain is that it starts with R. That's what's in the crypt. And R, it was on the wagon. I would never figure this out. So we're using the son's name, which this walkthrough has told me is Robin. Little boy, whoops, named Robin. Oh. The heck is this? How the absolute fuck would you figure this out? How? There's no fucking way. Nah, dog. Nah. I'm gonna assume that's the chapel key. A heavily adorned key. Blah, blah, bling. You have a lot of keys. Yes, I do, Moogie. A metric shit ton of keys. And of course, as you collect them, there is no indicator of what the heck any of them are for. I mean, you can make assumptions, but like, okay, so this one right here, this short silver one, how the fuck was I supposed to know that was for the desk? I think the idea being that you kind of make a list, whether mental or actual list, of all of the bits that you have not unlocked. And as you kind of, if you're not doing this with assistance, you kind of just go and try them. Way to add hours to a game. Good grief. The lock produced a loud noise that echoed in the quietness of the area. It made me wonder about the secrets that have been kept safe and undisturbed in here for years. Ugh. Not even inside the chapel did I perceive a peaceful environment. The deadly stillness was deeply unnerving. Jesus, are you blonde? That's not a look I expected. This is not pleasant. Floyd sounds. That soundtrack is awesome. While I do love me a Jacobean or Gregorian chant as much as the next nerd, it's giving me the spooks now. Jesus, why are you blonde? Trick of the light? I don't know. Maybe he just likes being platinum. Bible. A very old Bible. Okay. Noted. The cabinet on this small loft seemed to contain, might belong to a priest. Does it? Nope. Ooh. Been a while. Right. Whoa! We just ran. Okay. You taking a nap, Jesus? Reminds you of Green Mile. Which part? The accoutrements inside the chapel, though mostly golden and shiny, look sad and fragile. Communion wine? Or communion goblet and tiny plate. The chalice was lavish and pleasing to the eye, but was sadly of no use to me. Secret hidden in the Bible. Oh, yeah, I got you. We don't bother with light switches anymore. I get it. Oops. Oh, what is this? Small metal ring. Well, that's a hatch, fella. Requiem. I don't have a wooden board to smash my head with. Bonus points if you know what that's from. Ah! Ew! Does he have a peepus? Oh. Well, did that do anything? When in doubt, crowbar. Checking our walkthrough. No way you would figure this out. Don't like that. Oh shoot, we're out of oil. Ugh. there even a candle? Oh, goodness. Is that all that's left of one? This is spooky as heck. Most of the books scattered in the hidden room were about occultism and African culture. Even their titles were disturbing. Strange titles such as De Vermis Mysterious gave me the shivers. As much as I love books, I don't even dare open those. Did we just take a stick? What the fuck are we doing with a stick? Okay. Christopher. Now remember, Christopher is the friend and doctor. April 5th, 1963. These may very well be my last notes in this regard. I'm afraid Catherine has already realized that what I've been doing here all the time. In vain, I've tried to explain myself, and I know what might have been the outcome had I kept insisting. If you could only believe me, Christopher, because I know you intend well, but I can feel the doubt in your heart. Put your rational thoughts aside for a moment and yield to the facts. If I can do it, someone who was constantly taught in the wonders of science ever since his childhood, then so can you. I'm hoping that you will contemplate the possibility of some truth in my assessments once you read about my latest findings. It is imperative that you carry on with this task. Catherine is watching my every step, and I'm afraid she'll take strong measures if I do anything out of the ordinary. Did you know she has been talking to other doctors besides you? And psychiatrists! Ah, the offense. My God, Christopher, I fear that she's willing to shut me up in a madhouse. How is it possible that all of you won't believe me? As if what happened with my own son wasn't enough proof. In my adjacent notes, you will find an exhaustive essay. Do we really have to read it? On the origin of the curse and what should be done to eliminate it. I know the whole amulet deal must sound crazy, but you have to trust me. The tribe has been doing this for centuries. Are you going to forfeit all that knowledge and experience? They faced a god, Christopher, and lived to tell it. Now it's our turn to live and tell the story. And Christopher, if we fail to remove the curse and anything happens to me, I want you to do it. And I have my complete mental faculties whilst I'm asking you to do this. It has been becoming more and more dangerous lately. Do not hesitate. There is simply no other way, and you would be the only one left who can do it. Promise me you will. I know I'm asking you to become a cold-hearted murderer, but Christopher, our lives, and possibly many others, are at stake. Isn't that enough to forget your vow? From James. Bum. What newspaper? Nope, still not done. Shit! That's creepy, whatever that is. I saved just before I came down here. Thank you, Road Rash. Oh, pfft. Once again, we clicking on the wrong fucking thing. Blah! Okay. March 26th. We gotta read his fucking essay now. One more sip. Alright. The folklore of the Dalmar is just as disturbing as their vicious attacks. If my researches have been correct, then I could have stumbled upon one of the most ancient tribes ever known to humanity, dating back to the era where the so-called Bushmen inhabited South Africa. We're talking over 20,000 years ago. How could any civilization manage to survive all this time without ever hunting or expanding, just being there? I don't dare to imagine what 200 centuries of inbreeding and cannibalism can do to people. I've seen them, and they can't be called humans. What is most unsettling is their mystical background. Oh, sorry. Impossible to be considered a religion due to its complete lack of basic rules and maturity. The only simple premise is to keep an evil entity at bay which has been stalking them since the beginning of time, or Dark Ages. At this point in my research, I had to stop and consider the implications. The Dalmar have actually thought of their later period, the systematic slaughtering of mankind, as good times, or golden ages. I thank the Lord that this tribe never managed to grow, or I seriously think the religion, maybe even the entire region, maybe even the entire continent, would have suffered terrible consequences. This history is so ancient that it makes me feel dizzy. The vengeful god, which is incidentally referred to as Dolom. Dolham? Dolom? Dolom. I don't know. Would control the Dalmar via its many incarnations. Most of the time it would be a tall, feline-like figure, always dwelling in shadows and slaying any villager who would unwittingly come close. Some say its deadly claws would not only penetrate your body, but your soul. The purpose of the harassment is unclear. It would look as if the Dalmar were simple toys to play with. It seems then that the Dalmar managed to free themselves from its clutches with the help of an amulet or charm which would effectively force the entity to retreat. The most curious thing is how this amulet was conceived. Two main elements were required to perform the exorcising of this evil, and they had to be strictly related to each other. one representing the victim, the other representing the victimizer. To achieve this, something related to each one was used. While I'm not sure what is referred to as the victim, I think it could be concluded that anything belonging to any villager would have served, given that they were all victims. As for something representing the victimizer, it may have been more complicated. What could possibly be related to a god? This god in question? Next, these elements had to be mixed with a rare medicinal plant native to the region, which apparently had the properties to blend both items together, as long as they were not too solid. Finally, a branch of a particular tree, whose name escapes me now, had to be used as the holder of the blended items. It is on this item that a mysterious blessing was performed. It should be noted that all the elements had to be organic. The Dalmar successfully released themselves from the control of the vicious god with an intense ritual that seems to have taken days to perform. In the end, the amulet was so powerful that the entity surrendered to their will and offered divine power in exchange for sacrifices. But the Dalmar wouldn't allow to be fooled. They decided that getting rid of the evil once and for all would be the wisest thing to do, so they managed to capture its spirit and store it someplace where they could guard it for ages to come. My God! The evil spirit was cast into a mask, trapped inside the confines of its blessed wood for eternity, a mask which its description bears uncanny resemblance to. Who am I fooling? It is the mask the Dalmar would keep the spirit at bay via regular intervals, involving the bloody sacrifices and the aforementioned amulet. The last book I read today about the Dalmar, in reality 2 small paragraphs as amusing bonus reading in a book lent by the museum, was revealed to me something that left me completely paralyzed with terror. I've always wondered since I began studying them what made the Dalmar savagely slaughter neighboring tribes without any apparent reason. Was it a violent, raw instinct? Did they feel threatened in any way? Was it by a perverse and ungodly sense of enjoyment? No, it was fear. Fear that someone else would take the mask and release the god. They killed to protect themselves from falling again into dark ages. If they went to such extreme lengths to avoid this, then what did they have to endure when the entity was free? The rituals haven't been performed on the mask for years now. What have I done? What have I done? I was shocked to learn about this evil. Terrible as it was, I still wondered to what extent James Blackwood went to get rid of the curse. Bum bum bum. Shit begin hurrious now. That's a spooky mask too. Time to go bitch at Jerry some more. Thank you. Yes, I do need to hydrate after all that. That was a spooky sound. Jerry, what the fuck have you gotten me into, old chap?